Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace, blessings, and mercy of Allah the Almighty be on all of you. I hope that wherever you are hale and hearty and in good health. I want to put up this video to talk about the recent updates on the cricket. And as you would be following, I'm particularly talking about the Under 19 Cricket World Cup, which is being played in South Africa. I just want to beforehand make a confession and do some rectification, because last time when I was talking about the fixtures of the games that are going to be played in this quarterfinals, I mixed up the teams as to who would be playing against which team, and I have the proper update with me, which speaks unfortunately the other way, so my extreme apologies about that, but let me just give it to you now. As for the standings are concerned, it is that it will be the four teams that will be playing against one another in one set of two quarterfinals, and another four teams that will be playing against one another in another set of quarter final games. So it will be the four teams: first India, New Zealand on the top of their group stage, and Australia and West Indies on the top of another, which is like Group A and Group B. So A1 meeting B2 and B1 meeting A2. So the interesting thing is that now India and New Zealand are playing the game today, which is going to be broadcasted live, and unfortunately the team of Afghanistan and Canada and Sri Lanka and Japan, who are going to be playing games today as well, are not going to be broadcasted live. So for you, the Afghan fans, unfortunately I don't have a good news for you. It is that Afghanistan game that is being played against Canada today is not going to be a live broadcast. We will come back to this point to talk about India and New Zealand game, but as for the standings for the quarterfinals are concerned, so it is, if India is on the top of the group, they'll be meeting Australia, because that has already been set that on Group 2 or Group B, West Indies is on the top of the list, and then is Australia. So whoever is on the top of the list of A, which is either India or New Zealand, and I'm sorry if it is getting a little confusing because I'm giving you a lot of kind of scattered facts, but in any case, so it is West Indies and Australia, and New Zealand and India. So India will be meeting Australia, or New Zealand will be meeting Australia. And it'll be West Indies going to meet New Zealand or India. Now, what in this game between New Zealand and India, I kind of think both teams will be trying is to top the group, to be able to meet Australia, than to meet West Indies, considering the sort of a form West Indies is at. But then if you're playing a World Cup and if you want to claim to be the champion, you wouldn't mind playing anyone. So that is on one hand. And on the other hand, of the other four teams that I was talking about, it is Bangladesh, Pakistan, and I'm saying it in the sequence of now that they are at the group. So it's first Bangladesh on the top of the group, and then Pakistan, and Afghanistan, South Africa. So if Bangladesh remains on the top of the group, they'll be meeting South Africa. And if Afghanistan remains on the top of the group, they'll be meeting Pakistan. But that again will be decided in the game today, which is being played between Bangladesh and Pakistan. So those are the facts that I sort of wanted to share. So these are the remaining games that are yet to be played are between India and New Zealand. That's going to be a live broadcast today. Bangladesh and Pakistan, Japan, Sri Lanka, which is not very significant. And thing is, Sri Lanka is out of the next stage. And so is England. Come on. England's senior team is the 2019 Cricket World Cup champion. They, for the first time, won the Cricket World Cup that they had not won before, of the 50-50 overs format. But it's an irony that their under-19 team has not even been able to qualify to the next round. And another interesting fact is that they were beaten again by Australia. Last time in the edition of 2018, Australia was able to beat Australia was able to beat England in the quarterfinal stage, and were able to register themselves a place into the semi-final, which ended all the way at the end to play the final against India, and India claimed the victory of the 2018 edition, which to give you another fact is India has won it 4 times, and then Australia has won it 3 times, and Pakistan has won it 2 times. In this game between England and Australia. There's a saying, and we all know that history repeats itself. And there are just a few things that people say, like the thing about history is that history repeats itself, and that's one thing wrong about it. Or you kind of try and look for funny quotes and sort of a thing. So I wanted to just look for something, and I came across one. The thing is that we learn from history that we never learn from history. What do I mean by these complex, or trying to bring in a comic sort of a saying into this is, England were beaten last time and England were beaten this time. And it was both the time that England could register a victory and they could not. Why? Because last time when they were playing in the 2018 edition, I shouldn't be talking a lot about it, it was only 120 something runs that they had to chase, and they were bowled out for under 100 runs, and that was courtesy to some great bowling by Lloyd, who took 8 wickets for conceding 35 runs. And in this game, look at the scenario: 40 runs required, 18 balls left, and your players on the crease from Australian side or the play number 9 and 10. And what happens? The first 2 balls are dots. So this means 16 balls left, 40 runs to chase, and they make it. In the next 4 balls that they face before the penultimate and the last over to be bowled, they scored 22 runs to bring down the equation to only 18 runs required of another 12 balls. And it was a thriller of a game. I could say that among all the games that are being played so far in this Cricket World Cup under 19 2020, this was the most thrilling, and from the England point of view, a very important game for them that they, unfortunately for them, lost and are out of the tournament. That said, we come back to the New Zealand versus India game as well before we talk about Afghanistan. India's not been challenged as far this tournament is concerned. They were able to bowl out Japan, and their pacers were really not tested, and so haven't their spinners been tested. So New Zealand is going to be a challenge for them as far New Zealand is concerned, because they are a stronger side in this tournament. But if there is any game that India can afford to lose, is this game. But they will certainly not want to lose it, and they will want to win it to be able to meet a lower in a sense that in the group stages, whoever falls second in the group that they will want to be facing. So that's another thing. So it will be an interesting game for us to see between India and New Zealand. After they play the game, you will be having a better idea as to who will be meeting who as for West Indies and Australia and concerned for these two teams waiting. Another thing about Afghanistan is now that Afghanistan is going to be meeting Canada in this game. Afghanistan is already qualified for the next stage. It will only be seen which place in the group they finish as to who they'll be meeting. It'll be either Bangladesh or Pakistan. So it'll be an interesting thing to see. Afghanistan has played a very, very good cricket so far, but the hopes are that they perform well in the next stages that matter. So Afghanistan will only have to win 3 games after this, which is the quarterfinal, semi-final and final, to register the very first Cricket World Cup under 19 triumph victory for themselves. So let's pray for that. Afghanistan has got Ibrahim Zadran, who's a very good batsman. Afghanistan has got Imran Mir, who is also a very stylish batsman. I said he's like a right-handed Ben Stokes of England, but others say that he's got a very classic drive, cover drives that he plays so well into perfection. You wouldn't be able to say, but then close to perfection that he plays him. And then Rahmanullah, I heard from somewhere that the coach had said that he's the Rohit Sharma of Afghanistan. So it will be really interesting indeed to see how these lads play. But then bringing it to the bowling side, Fazal Haq was a promising pace man for Afghanistan along with other pacers. But then the key is our spinners. Noor Ahmed and Shafiqullah Ghaffari. Shafiqullah Ghaffari in 2 games is leading wicket taker so far, who's taken 11 wickets and 2 5-4, 6 wickets in the first game and 5 in another. So interesting to see, and let's see who they play against. And my apologies again, because last time I'd say it as if Afghanistan would be meeting New Zealand in the quarterfinals, which I was wrong, and Afghanistan will be either playing against Bangladesh or Pakistan. So my apologies for that mistake that I made. And this was just a quick go through the facts and things to see how they work. And Afghanistan is certainly going to be feeling a bit of a pressure as they enter into the next stage. Quarterfinal, it's a knockout stage then. You win and you go to the next round. Semi-final and then the final. Afghanistan were able to play so well that they managed to reach the semi-final in the previous edition. Will we be able to see them reaching final and lifting the trophy? Let's hope and let's pray that our Afghanistan reaches there. And at the end, they have to show courage, because it says that courage is grace under pressure. And no pressure, no diamond. So we want our players to turn into diamonds, play under pressure, and bring this joy into home with the trophy in their hands. They have tough competitors against them as they move to the next stage. Bangladesh, Pakistan, moving on to the next stages. Let's see, India, New Zealand, and final, let's see and let's hope. Thank you very much for viewing my video. Once again, my apologies for the mistake that I had made in the previous video, but we are human beings and we are to err and to admit that if we make mistakes, we just attempt to rectify them back. If you like my videos and if you want more of my videos, please leave your comments, share the videos forward, and thank you very much for viewing my videos.